Models, the ultimate hobby. This is the building of the Starship Enterprise. Its continuing mission to create a beautiful centerpiece, to seek out new builders and young model makers, to boldly go where no model has gone before.
Welcome back, everyone, to the Model Frontier. If you're new to the channel, make sure you smash that subscribe button and ring that notification bell so that you don't miss a second of my great content. Last month, we got the first of our regular monthly shipments with 4 kits to assemble, and boy, what a lot of work that was. We worked on the deflector dish, we put together the battery pack, some deck panels, and we even started on the internal skeletal structure of the saucer section. Now that we got our next shipment, which includes kits 7 through 10, we also get this. It's the screw box that you've seen me use in prior videos. Now, as I mentioned before, when I decided to start making this series, I was already several kits into it, so I already had the screw box. You've seen me use it a few times before. Now you'll have it to store your spare parts. I don't really have much I can say about it, but I am going to show off a couple of things that I use for my personal model, and you might find it helpful for yourself. Okay, so here's your toolbox, and the big feature I'd like to show you on this is that these compartments that it comes with, they are adjustable. Let's face it, you've all seen how small some of these screws and some of these parts are, so they're not going to require huge spaces to hold them, so it's really nice to have the ability to, adjust the compartments for your needs. Now, you see here how I've got mine set up. Again, this is your project, it's your model, so do what works for you, but I'm going to show you a few things about the setup, about this setup and why I personally like it and why you might want to go for it. The first thing is that the way I got it set up here, you have a big spot right up front to put your tools for this. Screwdriver, tweezers, glue, whatever you need, you'll have a space to store it in here, so everything will stay in. Place. Another thing you may notice that I've done is to make life easier. You've noticed by now all of your screws come in packs like this, with a sticker on it denoting what kind of screw that it is. In this case, a CP screw. I just basically took that sticker off of one of the packages and kind of put it on the bottom here. You can really see it better with the DP because you can see the letters there, but so basically each spot is for a certain type of screw. I also did one row for all the P screws and one row for all the M screws, because remember, the second letter tells you what you're screwing into. P for plastic, M for metal. And I'm going from left to right, starting with A, B, C, and so on. I'm not sure how many different screws this kit's going to have. I do know at least they go up to the letter E because we got EM over here. But so far, this seems to be working for me. I've also been adjusting the compartments as needed to store extra parts. Like over here, I've got the spare. I got some spare windows, both clear and dark. I have the spare life pods I got here, and these are just extra parts from a kit that I got to replace a broken kit that I don't need the parts for. but I'm keeping them anyway just in case, because you never know. Again, this box is totally customizable, so do whatever works for your needs or whatever works best for your organization, but this is just a suggestion I've done, and it seems to be working just fine for me. Unlike the binder, which last time, as I mentioned, was a good idea, but it failed in the execution department, this is actually quite a useful gift, so good job on that, Eaglemoss. Now, enough about the gift this month. Let's get right into the model, because we got a lot to do today, and you waited a long time to do so. Engage. Alright, so here we are with the start of stage 7. We're going to start working on the neck of the Enterprise. Very important piece. This is obviously going to connect, this is obviously going to hold our saucer section on to the star drive section, so surprisingly it's made of plastic. That's one thing that shocked me. It's not metal. I'm kind of surprised that something so important isn't more metal, but maybe there's a reason for that. So we're flipping this over because we're doing some very tedious work on it. We're putting on the phaser banks, they're calling it, which are these parts. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to take your first phaser bank and just drop it into the slot here. I'm going to grab this. We got 2 little springs here that we got to put onto the pegs. You'll see these 2 pegs. I don't know if you can see them, but you see the 2 pegs there. We're just going to drop these springs on. Now, I highly recommend you do not open your springs up until you're ready to do this part, because they don't, unlike the screws, they don't give you extras. And then we're going to screw on this cover with 2 AP screws. So it just kind of fits in right here. And then you're going to screw that in. And now the phaser array is in. The phaser bank is in, and that step is done. Now we're going down to the frame. So after working on the neck of the ship, now we gotta go back to the skeletal structure. These next kits have quite a few bits of the skeletal structure, but it'll be pretty cool because by the end of it, you'll see the shape of the saucer section start to come through. Just like last time, we're still working with this same section that we already have these 2 pieces on. We're just going to add 2 pieces to this side. Same thing as before. This fat piece goes towards this part, which I'm guessing is the middle of the ship. And then the thin piece is going to go into these 2, and they're going to be joined together by 2 BM screws. So that's it for stage 7, and again, no give on these. Next stage, we're gonna go back to the neck, and we're gonna do some more of the skeletal structure, so you can kind of see that it's starting to look like these 4 kits that you got here. They're just gonna flip-flop between. You're gonna flip-flop between doing the neck and the structure. neck and skeleton, neck and skeleton. So just be ready for that. But I think you're gonna like what it looks like at the end. Okay, so as you can imagine, stage 8 is just going to be doing the same thing we did at the beginning of stage 7, but on the opposite side. So not really much to talk about. It's just rinse and repeat from what we just did on the prior stage. So we drop the piece in here, put your 2 springs in, put our cover on and screw it down. Okay, now the second phaser bank is on. And that's it for this part of the stage 8. Now we're going to go back to the frame again. Again, as I've said before, I'm sure we're going to flip-flop between the two for this whole kit. So, but don't worry, we'll be seeing this on stage 9. Okay, so for this part of stage 8, we obviously need the piece we have that started on stage 6. We added to it on stage 7. We're going to add to it again here. This time we are going to actually expand it out. We got another one of these parts here, and it's just going to slot in there. And the saucer section skeleton is going to start growing. So once again, 4 BM screws. Four BM screws to get them in. What might work better for you on this one, since this does have some stability like this, is to flip it upside down, flip it like this, and put the screws in this way. Whatever works best for you. This is just how I'm doing it. So. Okay, so that's it for that part of this assembly. Stage 8 is now officially complete. You can see there's no give in that. It's not going anywhere. And this is obvious. This is the actual completion of stage 8. Stage 9, once again, we're going to be doing more we're going to flip-flop again. So let's just get right into it. Alright, so here we are at the beginning of stage 9. This time they're actually making us start with the frame instead of the neck, but we're doing it this way. So in case, obviously, you can tell, we're just going to be adding this piece to over here. Now, this is not the same size as these, so it's not going to flush line up the way these two did. But basically, you're going to want this edge to line up here. So, flip this over. I always like to try to keep it the way the instructions are showing, because then that makes it easier to figure out what goes where. And of course, 4 BM screws. This should be old hat by now. Okay, so that's it for stage 9. We've done a lot on the frame of this thing in the last few stages, so I just thought it would be cool to kind of show you something. Now, I'm not sure on this by any means, but you can look at this section of your bridge here, and assuming this is going out, We can kind of see, if we take the frame here, and let's assume that this is the middle of it. Oh, maybe not. Let's assume it's going to go like that. That seems to fit in there pretty good. Now if we turn this over, you actually kind of fit this to a position. Now you don't have to do this, but I'm just doing it for showing you guys. So you're going to kind of have it looking like that. So that should give you an idea just about how big this thing's going to be here. It's kind of hard to show because you're not screwing it in, but I just thought I'd show you that. Now we're going to flop back to the neck. Looks like we're putting in some more windows and electrics, and then we'll be back here for step 10, so see you then. Alright, so here we are at stage 9, and yes, you do see we have the tedious task of putting windows up here. This part will take you a bit. Two things to keep note of. Number one, these windows are not the same as the ones you may have left over from your prior section. Like I have some left over from when we did it on the deck plate sections. They will not fit in here, so be very careful with these. And also, unlike your prior section, your prior windows which did not have a label, these ones are labeled. So when we put them in, the important thing to note is that the label, the letter, dictates which side it's on. So since there's an, I don't know if I can get it, there it is. You got an L on that, so this is considered the left side. So all your windows are going to have an L on them, and that includes the clear ones. And as hard as it is, the best thing to note is that when you put them in, you want that letter to be facing up. Don't ask me why, it just seems like they fit in more snugly and securely when the letter's facing up. So I'm going to go put all those windows in off camera, and then I'm going to come back and we'll continue. Okay, so now we got our windows in, now we got to secure them. So we got electrics, we got lights we're gonna put into this. I highly recommend bending them at a 90-degree angle or as close to 90 degrees as you can. They do allow you to do that. You'll see why in just a second. Basically, when these windows are put in, they can still pop out at the slightest shake. So personally, I try not to touch this as much as I possibly can once I get those in. Yeah, you shake this and these windows can pop out and it's just a mess. It's an annoying mess. So we're going to put this cover on with these BP screws, and this I'm going to show you is why I highly recommend doing this thing, because the instructions I'll show you, they show that you put them in, these in first, and then you're flipping it and putting it that way. While you can do that, I find it's easier to put your bulb in just one side of this, plop it in place, and I'd recommend doing the top bulb because there's a lip here. And we're going to get these two screwed in. Now which two you screw in are up to you. I'm going to try the top two. Now those are screwed in. Now one key thing to note is you definitely don't want to tighten these over much right now, because what we're going to do is, I'm sure we've done this before, is we're going to lift this side up and kind of fit our bulb. Now that that's covers on, I'm going to lift up here. We're just going to kind of squeeze our bulb into its position, and then we'll screw it down the rest of the way. And that would be why I said bend your bulbs at a 90-degree angle. It just makes it a lot easier to do this part. Alright, that's in, and let's give these a little tug. Pull on the bulbs, nothing's coming out, so there we go. That half is done. I assume you can guess what's coming for stage 10. Alright guys, we're back here with stage 10. This is the last stage of your kit, and once again they're starting us off with the assemblage here. We're going to be working on this side of it, and again it's just the same thing. We're putting on some more of these pieces. So grab your 2 pieces, one fat, one skinny, grab your 4BM screws and put them into place. Okay, now that that's done, that is it for the frame in stage 10. Let's get back to the neck and do the other side just like we did before. Alright, so as I said before, obviously stage 10, final stage of this kit, is going to involve us putting this on this side. So we're not only flip-flopping on the skeleton and the neck, we're also flip-flopping on which side we're doing. So, just like before, doing the windows first. Again, each one's labeled with an R, so you can't get the 2 mixed up. So I'm going to put these in, come back, and then we'll do the lights. Okay, now all the windows are in place, and while I was putting them in, I found out something I kind of wanted to show. It might just be me, but it might help you guys out a little bit. Because these windows, I'm showing you on one of my spares, these windows, if it'll focus in there, they're not truly straight. They're kind of more trapezoid shaped. So because of that, when you're looking at it from the edge, it's going to be tough to tell, but there's a longer edge on this part that I've been able to more easily grab with my tweezers, and that just always so happens to be the bottom of where these windows go in. So if you grab that part, you'll always be getting your letters right, so they'll all go in. Just a little hint I found. Do it how it works best for you. So now we're going to put the lights in and cover this so that these windows don't have to move again. Just like before, I'm going to recommend doing the same thing. Bend them at the 90-degree angle. This time they want the yellow one on the top. So put our bulb in that part. And again, I only recommend doing the top one first because of this lip here. Get your BP screws, semi-secure it. Get your other bulb in. That. You see how easy that goes in once you bend it to 90 degrees, and then we'll just screw the rest of it in and call it a day. Okay, so now that's in, and lights are nice and tight in there, not going anywhere. Your windows are all in place. And that's it for this stage, and this kit. So tune in next time. We're going to get the next 4 out of the way with your next shipment, and we're going to continue building the Enterprise. So that's it for this shipment. Tune in next time when we're going to do kits 11 through 14. Thank you so much for watching and hanging out with me. Make sure you check out the content on my channel, and I will catch you next time on the Model Frontier.